So Mick's been left to rot in the reserves of Mercedes and being absolutely mugged off by Haas. I thought, why not give Mick one last chance to race in Formula 1. So this is Mick's last shot with Joe as his teammate to prove himself in the sport.
Oh my god.
Should I pass out?
Yeah.
We had a great first run in quali, starting in P8 for the start of our first race back.
Oh, hey.
It was a pretty boring race for Mick as we sat in P9 for most of it until the last lap when I thought, why not make a move on Russell as we had the chance. So it was a decent first race for Mick. I'm hoping we can carry a few more points finishes until the end of the season. Australia was the next round on the calendar, but we had a few little mistakes.
This game is so bad!
Quali was very hit and miss for us, but we managed to still out-qualify Joe and start in 11th for the Aussie Grand Prix.
I'm extremely angry.
A couple laps went by, we managed to make a lovely little move on George to take P7, and then we settled into our race. But this is where it took a turn for the worse. We got to lap 6 and coming out of the first sector, we had our first crash of the season, which is awful for us as we could have scored points again, but we're not going to be too heartbroken from this and just try to keep our heads down. It was now our time to avenge last weekend's disaster and finish in the points once again.
Moves to the outside of the track and then swoops round.
Oh, that's going round.
Oh, that's not that big at all.
This guy is such a fun.
After the audacious dive bomb by Charles, the car wasn't looking so healthy and it was going to be a struggle to keep the car in the points, but I weren't going to give up straight away. We got past a few cars and sat in 11th before the pit window opened, but just before we made a little blunder in turn 3. We had great pace after the pit stops and we came down to the last couple of laps, but we unfortunately had two Alpines breathing down our back.
With Pierre Gasly as they go side by side, and Pierre Gasly, what a move that was! Has all the good work become undone? He's trying every single trick in the book at the moment, and you can hear the gasps, the oohs and the ahs from the crowd.
We finally showed the brilliance of Mick, and it was down to us to keep this momentum going. The next few races were filled with some ups and downs, starting with Canada and almost getting a podium until the dying laps when the safety car came out and we made this mistake.
Okay, let's get ready to go. Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
Silverstone was a quiet race, finishing in the points once again, but like Canada, in Hungary we ended up making another mistake after we sat in P5 for most of the race, and on the last lap we had a pretty big crash. We then hit a pretty rough patch and then had a lot of crashes and mistakes in Italy and also Qatar, finishing outside of the points, meaning all the good work at the start of the season was all a waste, and it showed we had the odd mistake in us still. It was down to these last two races to really prove Mick deserved this seat. Brazil was a huge turnaround from the rough patch, qualifying in P7 for the sprint.
God, you need some help ASAP.
And we had a pretty good result in the sprint. We did finish in P6, but we will be starting in 14th for the real race on Sunday after taking a grid penalty because of the ICE.
I'm extremely angry.
We had a quiet race hanging in P10 until the last couple of laps we were a man on a mission.
All the time you have to leave a place.
We stayed on the back of Perez until the end of the race, and pulled out a P8 finish.
You guys are brilliant, man. Fucking hell. You guys are fucking brilliant.
Seeing we had such a great showing in Brazil, I felt just one clean race in the points would solidify Mick's spot in Formula 1 for 2024. It started well in quali, but it didn't end well. It's now or never for Mick, and it's going to be a mammoth of a task to finish in the points on Sunday.
Park this afternoon. Welcome around the world as we have 5 lights on and it's lights out and away we go. Yeah!
After the amazing start, we made another move on UK, getting us into P9, and now it was our job to bring it home.
There are real question marks over Mick. He keeps making mistakes. You know, some drivers just get to Formula 1 and it's a step too far.
We had a pretty perfect race from then on until lap 14 when we caught up to this pack of cars, and I thought, why not get involved and really show what Mick has to offer. Well, it wasn't great. We made a massive blunder and misjudged our braking and broke our front wing completely on the back of Alonso. But it wasn't over. We had 1 lap left, but Ocon was right behind us.
Praying that the checkered flag comes as soon as is humanly possible. You can see him in the background. Well, they shouldn't catch him from there, but who knows how this race is going to end. The checkered flag will come in the nick of time.
It was a very up and down season, and even though it wasn't a clean race, I think that points finish will still be enough for Mick to keep his seat.